had a coworker so jealous they'd do anything to tear you down? I did. Mine didn't just gossip behind my back. She stood up in front of our entire department and called me a liar, claiming the promotion I'd earned was completely fake. What she didn't count on was my proof. It wasn't going to be some dry email from HR. It was my name and new title, broadcast on national television for the whole world to see. I really used to love my job. I was at a mid-sized tech firm, big enough for impressive clients, but small enough that you knew everybody. For 5 years, I'd been a senior project manager, and I was good at it. I was the reliable one who always delivered, and I genuinely cared about our success. So when the CEO called me into his office to offer me a brand new position, one created just for me, I felt like I was floating. The title was Director of Special Projects. I know, it sounds vague, but the job was anything but. We were about to take our biggest leap ever, a strategic partnership with a massive nationwide logistics company. This wasn't just another project, this was the project. It had the potential to double our revenue and put us on the map. My job was to be the glue for the entire thing, coordinating between our tech teams, the partner company, and our own leadership. It was a huge vote of confidence. I was ecstatic. I walked back to my desk with the world's stupidest grin on my face and immediately shared the news with my team. Most people were amazing. Handshakes, high fives, genuine excitement. But then, there was Brenda. Brenda had been at the company a year longer than me and wore it like a crown. You know the type. Corrects you on pointless details in a group email just to feel important. When I announced my promotion, her smile was so thin it was transparent. "Oh, Director of Special Projects?" she said, her voice just dripping with fake sweetness. "How creative. What does that even mean?" I tried to explain the role, my excitement probably boiling over. She just nodded slowly, a smug little smirk playing on her lips. "Right," she said before turning and walking away. That was it. That's where it started. The whispers began almost immediately. I'd walk into the kitchen and conversations would just stop. I'd see Brenda huddled with her little group, shooting glances my way. I did my best to ignore it. I had a mountain of work to do, and I was going to prove I was the right person for the job. Her jealousy was her problem, not mine. I just had no idea how far she was willing to take it. Before we get to the moment it all blew up, if you're enjoying this story, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications. Trust me, you won't want to miss the stories we share every week. The passive-aggressive stuff quickly got a lot less passive. In department meetings, if I gave an update, Brenda would jump in with a question designed to trip me up. "Are you sure you have the authority to make that call? Or shouldn't a real director run that by the board first?" Every question was a little jab, planting seeds of doubt about whether my job was even real. I handled it professionally, or at least I tried to. I'd answer her calmly, reference the authority the CEO gave me, and move on. I even pulled her aside one-on-one. "Is there an issue?" I asked. She just gave me this wide-eyed, innocent look and said, "I'm just trying to understand all the newfangled roles around here. Things are so informal these days." The final straw came during our quarterly all-hands meeting. The whole department, maybe 50 of us, were there. I was last on the agenda to give a quick update on the partnership. I stood up, feeling good about the progress we'd made, proud of my team. When I finished, our department head asked if there were any questions. And Brenda's hand shot up. I braced myself for another snide comment. I was wrong. It was so much worse. She stood up, not even waiting to be called on. "I have more of a comment, actually," she said, her voice loud and firm, making sure everyone could hear. "I think it's great that we're hearing these little stories, but I'm concerned about the misinformation being spread." A confused murmur rippled through the room. My heart started to pound against my ribs. She turned and looked right at me. "I've been here a long time," she said, "and I know how promotions work. They come with HR announcements, new payroll codes, and a spot on the org chart. Funny, but for the Director of Special Projects, none of that has happened." The room went completely silent. "So I'd just like to say," she declared, her voice ringing with phony righteousness, "that it's incredibly unprofessional to invent a fake title to get attention. It's a lie, and we shouldn't be encouraging it." I just stood there frozen. The air was gone. 50 pairs of eyes were locked on me, a mix of shock, pity, and suspicion. She had publicly called me a liar in front of everyone. My face felt like it was on fire. I mumbled something about the role being new and the details being finalized, but my voice was shaking. In 30 seconds, she had torched my credibility. After the meeting, I stormed into HR, furious and humiliated. I laid out exactly what happened. The HR manager listened, then gave me a sympathetic look with zero teeth. "It sounds like you and Brenda have some interpersonal drama," she said. "I'd suggest you two try to work it out. We don't really get involved in workplace disagreements." Interpersonal drama. I had been slandered in front of my entire department, and they called it a squabble. I knew then that no one at the office was going to help me. There was only one thing that could prove her wrong beyond a shadow of a doubt. My vindication wasn't coming from an internal email. It had to be bigger. It had to be undeniable. For the next 3 months, I buried myself in my work. I channeled every bit of that anger and humiliation into the project. I lived and breathed the partnership, and my team was right there with me. We were building something huge, and our partner company was thrilled. At the office, though, I was a pariah. Brenda's accusation had stuck. People were polite but distant. I was the girl who cried promotion. I could feel them all waiting for my special project to fizzle out into nothing. The partnership was set to be announced at the Future Forward Summit, a massive industry conference. Our partner's CEO was giving the opening keynote, and the whole thing was being broadcast live on several national business channels. Our company was going to live stream the keynote in the main conference room for everyone to watch.
Ready.
The day of the summit arrived. You could feel the tension in the air. Brenda was holding court by the coffee machine, a smug grin plastered on her face. She was practically vibrating with excitement, clearly expecting a minor announcement that wouldn't involve me at all, which would finally prove her right.
Ready. Go.
Our entire department gathered in the conference room. The lights dimmed and the broadcast began. The CEO of the shipping giant walked on stage. He was a powerhouse talking about the future of commerce. My stomach was in knots. He talked about industry trends for what felt like an eternity before finally shifting gears. But innovation isn't just about ideas, he said. It's about execution. And that's why I'm thrilled to officially announce a new exclusive partnership with a company that is redefining tech integration. He said our company's name. A polite, scattered applause broke out in our conference room. My boss shot me a quick, encouraging smile. On the screen, the CEO continued, "This initiative has been months in the making, and it will revolutionize our delivery network. It's the result of countless hours from the most brilliant minds in the business." My heart was pounding. This was it. Then he said the words I'll never forget. "A project of this scale needs a singular vision. It needs a dedicated leader. This partnership simply wouldn't be happening without the incredible person who quarterbacked it from day one." He looked right into the camera, and on the screen a chyron faded in at the bottom. It had my name on it. "So I'd like to extend a huge thank you to my name, the Director of Special Projects for this initiative," he announced. Her leadership and vision were instrumental. My name, my full name, and my official title, Director of Special Projects. On national television, the room was dead silent. I slowly looked around at the faces staring at the screen, then at me, their jaws on the floor. And then I looked at Brenda. The smugness was gone, replaced by a pale, slack-jawed shock. All the color had drained from her face as she stared at my name on the broadcast. Undeniable and irrefutable. She looked like she'd seen a ghost. The applause started slowly, then it grew into a roar. People were clapping, looking at me with awe. My department head was giving me a standing ovation. In that moment, I wasn't the girl who cried promotion. I was the woman who had led the single most important initiative in our company's history. The fallout was immediate. The next day, the office was a different planet. People who had been avoiding my eyes were now stopping by my desk to congratulate me. The CEO sent a company-wide email praising my work, cementing what everyone had already seen on TV. And Brenda? She didn't come in the next day, or the day after. Late in the week, an HR email announced she had resigned to pursue other opportunities. She couldn't face me. She couldn't face anyone. Her crusade to humiliate me had backfired in the most spectacular way possible. She wasn't just proven wrong in a meeting. She was proven wrong by a CEO on national television.